What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Real Estate Virgins podcast, where we are here to amplify your business in 2023 and beyond. This is for new agents. This is for agents just looking to have an explosive growth in their business. My name is Jordan Brown, here with co-host John Michael Perez.
Hello.
What's going on, buddy?
Everything's going good. Also, if you learn anything from this episode or any past episodes and you've gotten any type of value, you learned something new, please share it. We don't ask for anything except for just share the episode.
Yeah, we do this for free. We're trying to just help, close the gap between all the mistakes that are going to happen. We've been there. We've done it. We're still going through it, and you hear those stories here on this podcast.
Absolutely.
Absolute banger episode. The last one. What was that?
That was like my throat going. That was weird.
Did y'all hear that? That was weird.
My throat was like making a noise from drinking the water. Okay.
Yeah, last episode we had Suman Kim on, who is an absolute monster agent here in the area. Big presence on YouTube. Over $144 million sold in his first 2 years as a real estate agent. If you're listening and you're going, damn, I wish that was me, go listen to that episode. Just as a fan of his and as a realtor looking to expand my business this year, I took a lot away from that episode. So
yeah, absolutely. I've been in the business for 7 years, and I'm like, dude, this dude like takes in information and just takes massive action quickly, and that's huge for, he taught so much in that episode, and you haven't listened to it, like Jordan just said, go listen to it.
Yeah. Anything going on in your personal life?
Before
we dive into the real estate realm?
Personal life. Just did a really fun. We hosted a 3vs3 basketball tournament yesterday.
How'd that go? Did you win?
I did not win, but
you won last year, though, right?
No, the year before.
Oh, okay.
Well, technically not the year before.
It was an inside job.
Yeah. And then we had a ton of dads show up. As long as people are having fun, that's all that matters to me, really.
Yeah, that's awesome. And that was a charity basketball tournament, correct?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for this awesome nonprofit called Wonders and Worries. They support kids that have terminally ill parents, and then we raise a lot of money, and
that's amazing.
Yeah.
I love that. And that's part of the culture of giving back. That's real big with Impact Property Group, the group that John and I are a part of. We love doing things that give back to the community, whether it's a backpack drive, meals for families that are in tough situations, basketball tournaments for charity. And it's cool because it's things that you're passionate about. Like you get to have fun and play basketball while also doing something for a good cause. We think that realtors who have a purpose, Elliot talked about that in his podcast, where his mind's at of his really big goal to open up schools for children. I think they were like disabled children. I can't remember exactly what category it was, but he has such a big vision for that, and it's the driving factor behind what he does. And it's more than just your personal wealth, which I think is really cool. And I think that distinguishes really good agents and passionate agents. You can just tell when you're talking to them, where it's like, this drive comes from a really sincere place.
Yeah. I think a lot of agents, there's agents, like I always say, there's agents that are brand new and there's agents that are veterans. And the thing is like, you have to get to a certain point where you can start doing that.
You still have to make a living.
Yeah.
Like you still got to pay your bills and get yourself in a good spot. But then what you do from there, I think, is really telling as to what kind of human you are.
Exactly. Yeah. I agree. So back to Suman's episode real quick, just to quickly summarize, what are some really cool things that you got? We don't want to give it all away because we want to make sure that you listen to the episode, but what are some quick tips that you got out of that episode?
Yeah, so to kind of summarize Suman's episode, the big thing is there's a few key items. In-person connections. He mentioned how big networking is for him. He came into the area when the pandemic was going on. He moved across the country from California to here. He didn't know anybody. He wasn't connected. So what did he do? He's the boots on the ground. He's the one going out to these events, socializing with people, and he made it happen, right? No matter what that looks like. I don't think we really got into the specifics because there were certain times where felt like you couldn't do anything. You couldn't host a birthday party without the SWAT team being knowing about it with the COVID regulations. But no excuses. He just made it happen. And what's really cool, another key point I took away is making content. If you're going to make content, do it with a purpose. I think back to the Jeremy Knight episode where he was talking about, if you're a real estate agent, why are you going to make like stuff about the food in Austin? That's going to attract foodies, not people looking to buy real estate. So making your content with a purpose was really big.
Yeah. And to expand on that, I think it was really cool where he said, when we were looking for a new place to live in Austin, he looked for videos online to see what certain areas look like, what was going on in that area, and he couldn't really find good content.
He was going through it himself.
Yeah.
And he was like, well, there's not really high quality stuff out there. I'm going to fill the gap.
Yeah, exactly. And so filling that gap and then being the solution for people that are just like him, looking for areas in that, looking for information about those areas, he became that.
Yeah, and again, we're just going to keep like just rolling points. There was so much value in there. Like, I highly encourage you, if you did not listen to that episode. Also, if you're a returning listener, thank you guys so much. Seriously, it's super cool that we have people who listen on a regular basis who are getting value out of this. We love the feedback. We love the energy about this. So you guys encourage us to keep going. Thank you so much for listening. If you're a returning listener, if this is your first time, welcome. Excited to have you here.
Pretty cool. We've got like hundreds of listeners now.
I know, that was pretty cool to see.
I'm like, what? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, hey, you know what? In the grand scheme of things, we are a pebble, in a big ocean of podcasts.
Number 88 right now.
88, let's go.
In Real Estate Agent Podcast. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
I mean, we're relatively brand new. So
yeah.
Anyway, so yeah, learned a ton from that episode. Anything else?
Yeah, he was talking about the 3 C's. To kind of make it real simple, the 3 C's of really quality content. Connection. That was such a big one for me, because connection is what makes people want to work with you after they view your content. You may have really great points, and if they didn't connect with you, they are not going to use you to utilize this information. They're going to go to someone that they know, like, and trust, as Tom Ferry likes to say. And use them. And
I think that's one thing I've done really well at, is throwing events to build that connection, so that I build that trust, build that credibility.
Exactly. So you've got the connect.
But how do you do it through video? And that's what he was doing.
So it's cool with him, because he was mentioning that like one of his first videos was not really high quality content, or high quality from like a picture perspective. He said it was blurry. The audio wasn't, as good as his new stuff is. And he did it anyway, and he said one of the best performing videos that he has, because people get his high quality content and they go, who is this guy? Mm-hmm. And they go back to this original video, which is him saying, I'm a dad, I'm a husband, I'm this, I'm that, I'm a transplant from California, and people connect with that. People who are watching go, hey, that's me.
Yeah.
And if that's not happening in your content, you need to change it up a little bit. And I'm talking to myself a little bit, because I had to sit, if you listen to that episode, I sit there and go, wow, I identified by listening to him, I was missing the connection part. Yeah. What am I, and who are the people like me looking for real estate?
Yeah.
So connection's a big one. The second C, sorry, go ahead. Go on.
Real quick.
No, go ahead.
I want to leave people on a cliffhanger. At the end of this episode, we're going to make a big announcement.
Oh.
And it's going to be
dun, dun, dun.
Your announcement.
Okay. Okay. I like it.
Okay, go back.
And everyone just left. No.
I know, right?
So second C of Suman's big 3 C's is competency.
Competency.
You have to come across like you are the expert. There was a quote of, you are the expert until you prove otherwise. That plays into the confidence when you're doing a listing presentation, a buyer's consult, whatever it is. You are the expert when people are looking to you for information. You're the expert until you prove otherwise. Ooh. That means if you are not prepared to talk about the statistics, if you don't know what's going on in your market, whatever that looks like, whatever that piece of information that they're looking for, if you cannot provide it, you are no longer the expert. Mm-hmm. Competency. Do you understand what you're talking about? And the very last one, consistency. Consistency is the biggest part of, I would argue, of the 3, Well, I say that connection's pretty big too, but consistency I think is the biggest one. It's so many people try things, and when they don't yield immediate results, they give up.
So for me, consistency is like one of the hardest things for me, right? And one way to continue to be consistent is to put my back against the wall when it comes to getting things done, right? So let me give you an example. I put myself in a position where I have to pay for something, and if I don't do it, then I'm just wasting money, right? And so every month there's a monthly payment that's coming in, right?
True.
And so it's like, hey, I got to show up because I'm paying for this, right? I've got to show up. And so that's me being consistent. And
Yeah, same, like just like with this podcast, for example.
That was the example.
Literally, this morning I woke up with a lingering headache from yesterday. I felt like shit. I didn't want to do this, but it's like we're paying for it, and we got it booked. And are we gonna throw the money away? And there's value to still be had. And like I'm so glad that we're here. Like it's that thing is, my mom had a book that she told me the line from, and it was called Eat That Frog. Mm-hmm. And eating the frog means if you knew every 24 hour, every day that you woke up, that you absolutely had to eat a frog, right? It sounds disgusting. You don't want to do it. It's something that I don't think anyone wants to do. And you had to eat the frog. When would you do it? Would you get it out of the way? Would you wait until later on? The best thing to do is just eat the damn frog. You know what I mean? So it's kind of a weird analogy, but that book like stuck out to me, and I just remember it was so whack thinking about eating a frog, but it makes sense. Like it's nasty, it's gross, you don't want to do it. It's not appealing in any way, shape, or form, but you're gonna do it.
It's funny because somebody reached out to me like, John, how are you killing it so much in real estate? And then he goes, don't say consistency. And I was like, consistency?
Yeah. Yeah. There's not like whatever it is that you do, and we're going to get into that a little bit later, is whatever it is that you find out that you're good at and that you enjoy doing, that's real estate generating activities, do that consistently. And
you know what? I'm going to skip to that part real quick.
Let's do it.
Because, we're talking about it. But a solid real estate agent is consistently lead generating. I wrote this down. Consistently lead generating. They have a high level of communication. They schedule their calendar and provide their clients with a phenomenal experience so that they can become lifetime clients and not just one transaction.
Yeah, if you're new here to the podcast, we talk about all the time. When we interview top producing agents, what do they say 90% of their time is spent doing? Lead generating. That's it. It's not writing up the contract. It's not attending the walkthroughs. That's 10% of your time. 90% of their time is, where's this next sale going to come from? And how am I going to do it? How do I optimize? How do I get better at attracting attention? That's 90% of their thought is put into that.
I know. I remember back when I first started in real estate, and I thought that probably 90% of my time was actually working with clients. Or actually, doing paperwork, or I don't know, just
showing homes, or like
the mundane stuff.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's like me at home, just like working on finding the next client.
Yep. Scouring Facebook groups, or like responding to messages, posting content, making interactive content, things like that. 90% of your time. So really, if you're sitting here wondering how you can, why am I not getting business? Or I would encourage you to, take a step back, look at your day, and ask yourself if 90% of your time was spent lead generating that day, or was it 10%? Which one was it? Did you sit around? Did you watch a little bit of TV? Did you, take 2 hours to cook lunch, and and then maybe you had one phone call with one of your buddies, and that was it? That's not a productive day. That's not going to get you much.
Yeah.
But when you flip those efforts, that's when your business really explodes.
I'm going to make a proclamation right now.
Ooh, I like that word.
I know.
Let's hear it.
I'm going to try to commit to eliminate as many distractions as possible for 1 year.
1 year? That's tough.
I know.
That's a bold, like a big thing. And it's funny because it's easy to go like, oh, that sounds so easy to do. No, it's not. No. The distractions come up in many ways, shape, and forms. Whether it's like a phone call that's running on too long, you hear from a friend and then like you blink and an hour has gone by and you're like, cool, I was non-productive for an hour.
So when I say distractions, I mean like Netflix, HBO, poker.
Oh, I can't do that, man.
I know.
That's so hard.
I'm gonna try.
I'm gonna encourage you.
I'm not gonna
afar.
try. I'm gonna do it. But I just feel like there's so many. It's so easy as an agent to not hit your goals because there's so many shiny objects, and you see, oh, this over here. Oh, over there. Oh, yeah, over here. And for me, like I need to hit my goals, and I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, if there's any way I can help you with that, you let me know. You're like, Jordan, you are a big distraction, so stay away.
Bye.
And this is the end of Real Estate Virgins. No.
Okay, so with that, I sort of wanted to talk today to the agents that are like, I don't really know how to organize my business. I don't really know how to put my plan into action. I don't have a plan. Most people don't have a plan, right? So today, I sort of wanted to talk about putting a business plan together for real estate agents. Is that okay?
Let's do it. What does that look like to you?
So I know you've said it a lot of times before, but really we like to begin with the end in mind, right? So we want to figure out, one, how much money we need to make to be able to pay our bills and have a decent life, right? And so for the example, I'm just going to give an example. If your bills are, let's say, $7,500 a month, right? So you've got
ballin'.
I know, right?
That's a lavish lifestyle.
Okay, so then let's say 5,000. Let's say 5,000.
No, we can do 75. I'm just joking.
Okay, $7,500, and we're pushing it, right? So $7,500 a month. So that means what? Let's do the math real quick. Let's see here. $7,500 a month times 12. You got to make $90,000 a year, right?
Ooh. Yeah, and this could be like you're putting away some for like savings, like, but like your budget, your all-in budget is.
Well, the thing is like taxes too.
Yeah,
right. That's a big, 30% of $90,000 is $30,000. So now you're making $60,000 a year. Yeah. Right. So you want to just at least prepare for that, right? So $7,500 a month to cover bills, food, and all the necessities. So now you have to figure out
$27,000, but it's okay.
What?
30% of $90,000 is $27,000. But who's counting?
33%. Whatever.
But who's kidding?
Okay. So now you've got to reverse engineer that, right? So like, how many sales do you have to make? So you have to divide that by 12, right?
Yep.
Am I doing the math right?
What?
Am I doing the math right?
Guys, I haven't eaten yet.
I know, I'm hungry too. Don't do math right now. Okay, so basically you need to figure out how many closings you need to make per month
to hit $90,000.
To hit $90,000.
Yeah, to support your lifestyle.
Yeah. So generally, a $300,000 sales is $9,000 with a 3% commission, and then
before splits and all that,
before splits and everything, right? So let's do the math on that. $300,000. That's one. I mean, in the Austin area, that's
kind of low end of the market too.
Yeah, low end of the market, right? So 300,000 times 3%, that's $9,000 times, let's say, I don't know, average agent makes about 80%, right?
Yeah. Let's just, and if you're not, shop around.
I know. 80%. So that's $7,200. So you have to make at least one deal
per month. And you're under at that point.
You're under at that point, right?
You got to be at a little bit more than a one closing per month pace.
One closing per month. And so now, okay, so that's 12 closings per year. And then also, you got to think about, okay, so what am I going to do to get at least one closing per month, right? And so for me, I figured out that it takes me 5 videos to equal one closing. So now, how am I going to schedule out my day, my week, my month to get 5 videos per closing, right? So my goal is 50 houses. Sell 50 houses a year. So in reality, this is not going to sound good, but I have to do 250 videos year.
Just under one a day.
Under one a day, right?
Yeah.
So how am I doing that? I'm getting short clips out. I'm doing, even when it comes to, reels and even like stories on Instagram, I'm putting as many videos out as possible. So reverse engineer it, and then figure out how many closings you need per year, per month. And then also, what do you need to do to get those closings?
Yeah, and the biggest part is the whole thing that John's talking about is you have to have the vision and the steps on how you're going to get to that end goal. Mm-hmm. So if you have to make X amount of dollars, and that on average you post, you get a lot of traction with this kind of content, therefore I need to post this much content. That's all it is. It's like taking like this mathematic approach and executing it that way to be on track with your goals, while also still trying new things out. Because as you know, your leads come in from all kinds of different sources. Mm-hmm. It's not going to be just content. It's going to be like you throwing events or past clients, your referrals, things like that. You got to try all this other stuff. But if you know that there's a direct connection where you can kind of sit there and go, X amount of video earns me this much money, and it's like a time effective thing, that's what you're needing to expand upon.
Yeah. And then another big tip is like, okay, so how do I stay committed to this, right? Like we're going back to it. There's so many distractions out there. So there's so many shiny objects. How do we stay committed to this plan? And then accountability really comes into play. And so keeping ourselves accountable to our daily actions in order to get those 5 videos, to get that one client, to get that 90 grand a year, right? And so how do you stay accountable?
Well, routine is a big thing for me. Okay. I find that when I have like a really good routine going, mm-hmm. it's so much easier to get things done. Yeah. If I wake up and also like our power hour, we do a power hour every Sunday. We didn't do it this last one just because everyone was exhausted. John had his basketball tournament. Deidre was running that as well. I had a big weekend that was really draining. So everyone was just very tired, so it was like we skipped this last one. But nonetheless, this is the first power hour that we haven't hit in a very long time. Mm-hmm. And it's being able to sit down with no distractions, being outside of the workplace, not being at home, not being at the office, going to somewhere neutral where all 4 of us can sit down and focus on what we need to get done for that week.
Do you think it's important to share your goals and your ambitions with your inner circle?
Yes, absolutely. That's what we're doing. Like, that's what, we woke up and Deidre's like, what's everyone's goals for the week, right? Just because we didn't have power hour doesn't mean you're getting off the hook for your goals.
Yep.
And that's a really powerful thing, because you've got to answer to somebody for your shortcomings. And sometimes that guilt of possibly missing your goal for the week is enough to drive people to get it done.
And so maybe that's a challenge for you guys, is like, hey, if you don't have an inner circle or people that can hold you accountable, then find them, because it's super important. It will help you hit your goals and help you stay accountable.
Yeah, the company that you keep is a big part, of real estate, I think, because I know that my business took off whenever I was surrounding myself with like-minded people who were performers and wanted to see me perform. Mm-hmm. It wasn't just, I talk about my first experience with real estate was feeling more like a glorified assistant, and not really getting the one-on-one investment into my business. It was, Jordan's got his license, therefore he can go open the super box and film this walkthrough video for me. And that was it. And you're like, well, F me, right? Like, what am I getting out of this?
How are you making money?
Like, how is this helping me in my business? So whenever you change your surroundings to people who really do pour into you and want to see you succeed, I think we're seeing that with our new guy, Derek, on our team. I'm so freaking proud of that dude.
Me too.
He came to us, he joined our team, but he had this, he's sort of brand new. Like he I think he would term himself as green and new. Yeah. And he was very honest with us about that. He said, look, I am here to soak up the information from you guys because I feel like I don't know anything. And so treat me like I don't know anything. Yeah. Like, let's go step by step in these processes. And what do you know? He's going out and he's doing things the right way. He went out and he farmed 30 doors before his open houses this weekend. Like, just, I'm so freaking proud of that dude.
Yeah.
Like, he's going out and doing it. And I think that kind of plays into a segment that you had, is doing things that are within your
personality.
Your personality. Yeah, like real estate's a very highly personal thing where there's no one size fits all solution that's going to amplify anyone's business in particular.
Yeah.
You have to do the things that you enjoy doing so you can be competent and consistent and make that connection. If you're doing something you don't enjoy, how do you think the other person on the other end listening to you feel? Like, if I'm cold calling and I don't want to freaking cold call, do you think I'm coming off as like a really confident, like, I'm here to help you attitude? No.
Yeah, I mean, energy transfer is so important. And so, like, if your personality hates door knocking or hates cold calling, like you just said, that energy is not going to be genuine, right?
Yeah.
And so you're definitely going to want to do something that fits your personality when it comes to lead generating.
I think it's really important, though, to push yourself, to try these things, because as we saw with Derek, what did he tell us one of those weekends? He was like, I'm not ready to be in front of a camera. Like, I'm not confident enough to, or I'm not ready, to see myself or to hear myself. I talk about that a lot too. And it was so cool to see him at our last meetup where we toured this property, where he was like, I was like, hey, you want to get in front of the camera? He was like, yeah, let's do it. And he did it, and he killed it, and it was great.
Love it.
So it's important to, like, not be closed-minded to the different avenues of lead generation. Try them and give them a shot. Give them a fair shot to work for you. But at a certain point, like I said, I cold called for 2 years, and I freaking hated it. And I was like, not only do I hate it, I'm not getting results. So this is not for me. So I stopped doing it. Does that mean that it doesn't work for Elliot? No, Elliot kills it with cold calling. He's got 16 properties because he cold calls. It's all about just finding the thing that you can get behind and running with it.
I agree. So when it came to, I know we talked a little bit about your first year in real estate and you felt like a glorified assistant. What was the major difference between your first year in real estate as to your second year in real estate?
I would say that maybe the single biggest part of it was I was no longer part-time. We talk about part-time agents, and I'm a big advocate for not going full-time in real estate until you're comfortable. That's exactly what I did. I was part-time for a full year while I worked another part-time job. I felt like I needed to do things a very calculated way, where I needed to make sure my bills were in order. I paid off a lot of debt during that time, and I set myself up to be in a position where it wasn't going to be like, okay, I have 2 months to be a really good real estate agent to show I can be productive, or I'm out. That's not good either. So I set myself up to be able to be a real estate agent full-time, and whenever I did that, all of a sudden, all these people that I couldn't help during the weekends, they're off work on the weekends. They're ready to go look at houses. And I'm sitting there like, I got work from 9 to 6. I could do, and I'm like, who the hell's going to go show a house at 7 p.m. or like 8 p.m.? You know what I mean? Like, whenever I became more available for my clients, that was a huge change for me. I still remember taking calls at AT&T, and they would want to go look at a house, and I'm like, I can't, like, and I wonder how much business I lost because of that. So instead of going to make a $9,000 commission check, I was getting paid $20 an hour to tell this person I couldn't go help them. So that's a big one. I got a few transactions under my belt, but during that first year, I think I sold like, I don't know, 3 houses the first like calendar year. Not much, but that really helped me to feel, after I had shadowed you, I had shadowed other people's transactions, their listing presentations, their buyer presentations. And I became like a sponge where I was soaking up all this knowledge from other people, and it made me more confident to where I could go, okay, that wasn't that scary. That wasn't that hard, and I think that confidence comes through whenever I meet with people, because I've only lost 1 or 2 like listing presentations that I've interviewed for, or buyer consults, like, aside from maybe like, in inflation or interest rates, like some kind of outside factor. I have earned all the business that I've interviewed for typically.
Nice. That's cool. I feel like real estate can quickly, if you don't have the right people around you, it can quickly become a lonely business. Like you're just at your house figuring out why things aren't working, figuring out what are you doing wrong, and you're just like, man, I'm lonely. Because I remember when I first started in real estate, 5 months in, I was just at my house waking up at 7, 8 a.m. Like, what do I do?
Yeah.
And until I found that mentor that really pushed me and that really taught me the way and was like, John, even though you're not seeing any results right now, keep doing it. Right. And for me, it's like digging at a piece of rock and saying, oh, I hope there's a diamond in here. I hope there's a diamond in here.
Yeah.
And then eventually that diamond hits, but it took me 5-6 months to hit this freaking rock.
And you were probably sitting there going, what if I just stop? Like, maybe this isn't for me. Like, maybe I'm never going to find the diamond. Mm-hmm. And then it takes one, and then you're like, oh man, that felt really good. I want another diamond.
I know.
And then you like double down on your efforts.
Exactly.
And now you're picking faster and you're finding more diamonds quick, and you're like, dude, let's go. And then
you're picking the right rocks.
Yeah.
Because you figure out how to pick at it right.
And you have to go through that. Like there's very few scenarios where, aside from like a few people who just have these really incredible stories of just success right off the rip, real estate is a long game. Mm-hmm. Suman talked about, when you have like a referral business or something, or you have a referral only business, that means that you have done well enough for a certain amount of time to sustain business. You've gotten, people to work with you for, your first 12 months or whatever. Because who are the first people that work with you? It's usually your friends and your family.
Yep.
Outside of that, where do you get leads from? You know what I mean? Like eventually they're going to stop buying or selling. They're going to settle down.
Yeah.
And there's not even a guarantee you're going to get those people. So you just got to keep going. It's a long game. It's super stressful. I was there. I remember sitting there telling Katie, I don't think I can do this. I don't think this is the right move. This is super scary. I have this really cushy job that I hate and is sucking the life out of me, but it pays okay. And now I'm like, I can never go back there. It's kind of funny how that works.
I love it.
I wanted to touch base back on something that you had asked me. You said what else had changed my business in year 2 or in going full time and all that. The conversations I was having. Ooh. The conversations look different.
So true.
I knew that opportunities come from meeting people and learning about them on a really like human level. Mm-hmm. And it's part of the connection, as Suman talked about, connection's everything.
Yeah.
When people believe that you have their best interests at heart, and you should, don't do it to be fake, and don't do it with an agenda. But in my head, I'm like, I can ask people better questions.
Yeah. The quality of your questions equals the quality of your results. And so the better the question, the better you can navigate the problems that your client has. And so if you're asking like lame questions like, what's the color of the house that you like? That's not going to get you anywhere, right?
Yeah.
But are you pre-approved? What time frame are you wanting to purchase this property? Why are you wanting to sell your house, right? And then they say, well, we got to sell our house because X, Y, and Z. Okay, now that I know that X, Y, and Z is happening, then we can figure out a faster solution.
Now I can help you better.
Exactly.
And now I can formulate this plan to show you that I am the person that you need to work with.
Mm-hmm. Do you have any power questions?
Well, so I think about like when I go to my hockey group, right? Mm-hmm. We play hockey every Sunday morning, and there's new people that fluctuate in and out. Mm-hmm. And I think about year 1, Jordan would be like, hey man, what's up? I'm Jordan. Like, and that would be it. That would be the end of the conversation and whatever. And then, hey man, like, what's up? My name's Jordan. Have you played hockey before? Great. Like, what? Tell me about yourself. Like, are you from the area? Where do you live?
Why'd you move?
Yeah. Do you have family down here? Mm-hmm. And so I think about my questions to people get better. And a really great book, Ninja Selling. Go check it out if you haven't. Really fantastic book for realtors, for business people alike. They said, and they didn't invent this, but they reminded me that Ford, Ford, If you can ask Ford questions, those unlock so much opportunity. So what is Ford? F is for family. You ask about their family. You got family in the area? How's your, you know, you got family? Like,
Yeah, I do.
Things like that. Like cool. How long have y'all been here? Things like that. Little questions to just get an idea of who they're surrounding themselves with. Are they deep rooted here? Did they move here? They'll be like, oh, my family's back in Chicago, or, you know, I moved down here for work. Great. What do you occupation? What do you do for work? I'm a software developer. That's awesome, dude. Like, well, cool. You obviously came out for hockey. Like, what else do you do for fun? Recreation. That's the R. And then D, what are your dreams? Like, and the D is, I want to say Ninja Selling said that the D is like the ultimate. That's like the bread and butter that you're trying to get to, because you're asking them a question they probably haven't been asked in a while. And it's like, damn, this person wants to know my dreams. They want to know how they can connect me to certain things. I can't tell you how many times I've been around John and he's talking to people who are entrepreneurs or they're looking to start a business, and he's like, how can I help your business? How can I help you? Excuse me. How can I help you get what you want? And then what does that do for John? He's the connector. He's the person to help connect people to try to make their dreams happen. You know, like,
you know what's crazy? Can I interrupt?
Absolutely.
And it goes with this. So recently I was speaking at this real estate conference for our brokerage.
With Grant Cardone, not a big deal.
Well, I didn't know that I was going to be talking with him on the and so he comes up on Zoom and he's on the screen and he's talking to us, and I'm thinking, how do I add value to this guy, right? Like, this dude he's a multi-billionaire or something like that, right? And he's got 2 million followers on all the platforms, and what's cool is I was like, how do I add value to this guy? And what I realized was there were some really cool guys there that we had lunch with previously. They own this big platform called School of Hard Knocks. And what I realized is that, you know, they have a huge platform too. They have over 2 million followers on all their platforms. And so when Grant was talking to us, I was like, he brought up the fact that collaboration was super important. And so it just hit me. I was like, what the heck? What if I connected School of Hard Knocks with Grant Cardone? And so that was one way of adding value to Grant Cardone.
And who knows what could come of that?
Yeah, exactly. So now School of Hard Knocks is like, hey, let's do an interview. Grant Cardone is like, yeah, absolutely. And all I did was say, hey, Grant, we've got these guys in the second row. They've got this big platform for entrepreneurs, and it would be right up your alley. How about we connect you two guys? And hopefully they get an interview. They said they were on stage. But that's the type of questions that you constantly want to ask yourself is, how do I add value to these people? Someone recently messaged me on Facebook and was like, hey, can I get the contact information of all your sponsors? And I know he probably wasn't coming at it with like bad intentions or whatever. But for me, as someone that constantly asks myself, how do I add value first before asking for something? Just came off wrong, right?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of takers out there. Yeah. And we like to work with collaborators, with givers, with people who are trying to enhance other people instead. And it just sucks, man. Like you said, I'm sure he didn't mean it in that way, but the optics of it look really bad.
Yeah. And so it's like, hey, take me out to dinner before you F me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, or ask me for, information.
Hey, you've done all this work getting all these sponsors together. Can I have all their info?
Yeah. We spend a lot of time with building our
quality relationships
and connection. And
that came with throwing events at those sponsors' places. That came from helping their business in certain ways.
Adding value to these businesses.
Yeah.
Right. And so yeah, that's a question. That's probably one of the most important questions that you as agents can ask yourself is, how do I add value to these people? And then obviously we're going back to ask good questions so that you can add better value.
Yeah. It's amazing that when you start asking the question of how you can add value to things, opportunity opens up. It's
so true.
It's, hey,
so true.
For example, I think of like the events that you throw for these local businesses where that's getting exposure for them. And then, when they need, or like a family member needs a realtor, who are they going to think of? They're going to think of the person that enhanced their business
or connected them,
or connected them to someone that they needed. You know, the guys, like you said, Grant Cardone and School of Hard Knocks,
yeah.
They each had their own following, but they were missing that connection there, and you were the catalyst that brought them together. And it wasn't like a give me something in return. It was just, hey, I know both of you. Y'all should talk. Like,
exactly.
Making connections for people is so impactful. So I love that.
Matt Teifke too. He's really good at connecting people.
Yeah, he is.
He's, hey, you need this, you need that, you need this, you need that.
And that comes. And what does that come from? Why is Matt so well connected? It wasn't because he sat his ass in bed. It's because he's out there. He's always making connections. He's calling people every day. He's in every city, meeting business people, meeting other entrepreneurs, meeting other realtors. I just love that. He has so much responsibility as a broker that he's still doing it. He's in the trenches. He's in the grind. He doesn't need to, but he does, and he's really good at it.
100%. Okay, so we're gonna shift gears a little bit.
Let's do it.
But as a new agent, what are a few things that you need to get started when it comes to, I don't know. Just what are things that you need to get started? Maybe
for like to establish a presence or something.
Yeah.
For me, it's how can you get people to review you? So when you get sales, how can you publicly advertise and lead people to a review source? Rather, like me personally, I have a Google My Business page, which is now converted to Google Maps. But that's where I send every person that I do business with, whether it's a lease or buy or sell, whatever it is, I send them a link to there and I say, would you mind writing me an honest review that helps me get better and also is for the optics of anyone looking to work with me?
You know what's crazy is that when you put your name out there, people are actually Googling you way more than you even realize. I went onto my Google page and 900 people are Googling me.
Looking at the analytics.
I'm like, what the heck? 900 people? I'm like, and so I didn't even realize that. If you put your name out there and you start networking, people are going to start looking you up on Google. So the importance of getting testimonials is
it's so big. It's
huge.
How can you undermine the value of other people's opinion and influence on other people? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like John has talked about where it's easy, if I sit there and go, hey John, I helped your friend, blah, blah, blah. I helped Ted sell his house. Now John's thinking about, oh, well, I know Ted. I know Ted really well. And then he's probably going to go ask Ted how his experience was. The Google My Business page and the review page is a digital footprint of that. It's exactly that. It's other real people who have worked with you, and you're displaying it for the world, saying, hey, you know what? You know why I should be your realtor? Go ask these people here.
I also so after my listing appointment, this is a real quick tip as well. I'm going to bring this up real quick. Okay, so after a listing appointment, I send out an email that pretty much summarizes all of the things that we talked about and the plans, right? So when are we going to get pictures? When are we going to list the house? When do I need the paperwork by, right? And at the very bottom of this email, I put, hey, I also wanted to give you 2 more things, right? And the reason why I do this is because if they're having any second doubts as to if they should hire me or not, I give them testimonials, right? I give them a link to my Google page that shows all of my testimonials, right? So if they have any doubts as to if they should work with me or not, they'll probably click on that testimonials.
Yeah.
See what my clients are saying, right? And then I go a step further. We've talked about this in several episodes before, but I give them actual phone numbers of my past clients with their permission and say, hey, reach out to them. Ask them what it was like to work with me, right?
Because there's a real person you can talk to about any concerns you have about working with me.
Exactly.
Because you're not going to bring it up to me most likely.
No.
But you're going to ask another person who worked with me, and how the experience was.
And that tip has helped me get so many listings, almost 100%, right? Because because I have such a high level of credibility that there's almost zero doubt as to if they should work with me or not.
Right. Yeah, and if they're not convinced in that initial meeting, they're going to be convinced by the reviews and testimonials of your peers and other people that you've helped.
Yep.
I immediately thought of Jen, who is a really wonderful person that I've come to know really well. She was one of the admins of our local Facebook page for my community.
Yeah.
And I ended up selling her house. And it was during a very difficult time for her family. It was during, they were moving to another state. And so the house was there by itself. We had multiple freezes come through. And I didn't have to sit there and say what I did. I just did it. Mm-hmm. But her review, oh my God, probably one of the best reviews I've gotten. She talked about going beyond the means of what a realtor does for you. She was talking about how I went to her house multiple times to make sure that the faucets were dripping, that the pipes weren't exposed, or that they were insulated, to check on the house as well, being after the freeze, getting vendors to clean the house while they were absent and worrying about other more important things, going on. And that glowing review is so impactful, because I know if I send that to somebody, they're going to work with me.
100%.
They're going to work with me.
Yeah. And now you got me thinking what I need to do for some clients. Maybe I could go a little bit extra so that,
Well, I was just happy that, like, when I look back on it, I didn't have to sit there and go, hey, Jen, remember what I did for you?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was, she appreciated the things that I did for her, and it stood out in her mind enough to write that in the review.
Yeah.
And I was like, dang. That's all. Like, shout out to Jen.
I love it. Okay, so some more necessities as a new agent. So Google My Page, testimonials, extremely important. 2, you want to make sure that all of your branding is the same across all platforms, right?
Yep.
And also you got to put a link to a website. This is another thing that you need, a website that has some type of, if you're a real estate agent, some type of property search, right? Because you're going to want to look, your clients are going to want to look at your page, maybe see an about me. They're going to want to see the same branding across all platforms. And then they're going to want to, if they want to look for houses or, or testimonials, you can put some testimonials up on that website, but you need a website that they can go to look at houses.
And also fill out their information.
Yes.
Some kind of lead capture form.
Yes, for sure.
And I know, like, our CRM has that, where I can determine after they view 1 property, 2, 3, however many I want, when they're done when they reach that limit, they have to put in their information, and it sends it to me as a lead. Mm-hmm. So I can follow up and say, hey, John, I saw you reviewing my page. How can I help you? Are you looking to make a move here to the area soon? Do you have a house here already?
Yeah.
I can figure out more about this person.
Yeah. Shout out KV Core.
Yep.
It's a great CRM.
It is. Now, what's funny is I'm sure there's other great CRMs that we've had access to, and I've just never used it. But KV Core is the first one I've really, like, dialed in and been like, what is the functionality and the value this can provide me? And it's actually huge.
They always say the best CRM is the one you use.
Yeah, exactly. Another necessity for your business, social media. I'm sorry, we live in a digital age where people are looking to find you online. Mm-hmm. You have to have some kind of presence, and you need to go where your clients are. A lot of people have Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, you name it. People got it. Before I got full-time into real estate, I actually lost my original Facebook to a hacker. And I was like, oh, thank God, I didn't want to be on Facebook anyway. And then I got into real estate, and I was like, all my clients are on Facebook. So I made a new one. And so I'm back, and I use it basically, all my social media is just me advertising my business. But why is that important? Because it's important for me to know, or for people not only to find me, but I want to keep up with what's going on in people's lives.
Yeah.
Like, I think about it, and I'm like, there's going to come a point in time where some of my clients, maybe they're having another baby. And it's like, I remember that house was kind of small for them before they had children. Maybe I need to call them and say, hey, congratulations, blah, blah, blah. How's the house working out for you?
Yeah.
And maybe they're going to identify, hey, this house is a little small for us. Mm-hmm. And just little things like that. I mean, that's such a one-off situation, but it's so true. You need to keep up with what's going on in your clients' lives. And they're probably online.
Yeah. If you don't have social media, you are doing your business such a big disservice. Such a big. And because the thing is like, people want to know what's going on with their real estate agents, right? Or what's going on with your life. And if you're sharing wins, people want to work with winners. So, like, share your wins and continue. But the only thing is, the one caveat is don't shove real estate down there.
Yeah, you want to mix it up. I mean, people like genuine, seeing the human side of you. You know, like people know you're a real estate agent. You don't have to. I need to get better at this because I flood my pages with real estate stuff, but I try to get better about, I'll post pictures of my dogs when we go out for a walk. I'll post pictures of my wife and I or whatever. But people want to see, that's part of the connection, right? Because they may not be all in on real estate yet, or they may not need you for real estate yet, but they're intrigued and they want to know who you are as a person.
Yep, 100%. Cool. I think that's pretty much it, huh?
Yeah.
You got a big announcement or no?
I do. So super excited for this. My wife and I are having a kid. Woo! Let's go! Yeah, and we're pregnant. We just had this last weekend. We had our gender reveal. It's gonna be a beautiful baby little boy.
Oh my God, I was so excited.
We're gonna be boy dads.
Yeah, I took an awesome picture. So
yeah,
my kiddo in years gonna be friends too.
Yeah, by the time this airs, it'll be announced. It's a secret right now. So
yeah,
it's so cool. I'm super excited to finally be able to not feel like a fraud in the dads group.
You wanna tell them how you did the gender?
Yeah,
reveal?
so I'm pretty big into hockey, and we had a hockey puck that had dust, either blue or pink. And I hit the shit out of that.
Oh,
thing.
dude, you hit it so hard,
bro. There's a video of Eric Carlson, who is I think he's winning the Norris Trophy this year for best defenseman, and he has a video from 2017 doing his gender reveal. Mine was so much better.
Really?
I think my shot was so much better.
Nice.
Oh yeah. So I could have gone pro if I wasn't in Texas.
All right, have y'all been talking about names?
Yeah, we got a name picked out.
Oh snap!
Got a name picked out. I'm gonna keep that on the down low for a little bit, but it was just such a great weekend. Having you guys and the family and friends over, and just what an exciting time, man.
I'm not going to lie. I thought it was going to be a girl.
I did too. And I think I did it kind of subconsciously because I know that I never get the things that I want out of life. And so, I was like, you know what? I think it's a girl because that's karma. And no, we actually, a little boy. We're so excited. I know my family's, my dad in particular is excited because between the three brothers, I have two other brothers. And I'm the only one that's going to have a kid with a Brown name. So nice. He was like, you have to continue the family legacy.
Oh, I bet he was happy.
Oh, yeah, he was.
Oh, man,
yeah, he showed up. He was all blued out, blue jeans, blue shirt. Like, he brought, like, nothing but blue for the weekend.
I'll never forget when my wife, we found out whether it was going to be a girl or a boy. She brought out this onesie that was gray. And I'm like, what the heck does that mean? I was so confused. I was like, gray? I thought it was supposed to be blue or pink.
Yeah.
And she was like, it's a boy. And I'm like, what? I was like, why gray onesie?
That's so great. I remember when you called me to tell me that you guys were pregnant, and I was like, I don't believe you. That's straight up, like, because John and I go way back, and we've always, like, pranked each other or, like, just little things like that. And so it's almost like Boy Who Cried Wolf, except you had never done this to me before. You never said that you were pregnant, but I was still like, nah, John's fucking with me.
Yeah.
But no, it was super cool. I still almost think that you like have this 3-year-old child that is not yours, and it's just part of this really elaborate scheme or prank that you're in on. So.
Yeah. Oh,
super excited. I cannot wait to be a dad. And it's so funny because I was so nervous. People say if you wait until you're ready, you'll never have one, or you'll never be ready.
Yeah.
I have to slightly disagree, because this was a very like Katie and I were like, I think we're ready. Like, I think we hit a point. Now, granted, I'm going to be like 50 years old at my kid's graduation, but nonetheless, like, we're just so excited. I thought I would be a lot more nervous. I think I'm just so giddy about it, dude. I'm so ready.
Well, you'll be younger than your dad is when you're right, because you would be 60 when he's 31, or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
61 when he's 30.
Well, that's kind of along where my dad's at. So.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I know one cool thing is today, my son, when I was walking out, he always says, bye-bye, daddy. And I'm like, oh my God, it hurts. But I picked him up. I was like, you're a winner. You're a leader. You're kind. You love others and others love you. And he was just smiling. He was like,
He's like, yeah, they do.
Yeah, but that's one thing that I've always tried to do is just like instill the most positive words in his life, you know, just so even started from even when like the day one, just like you're a winner, you love others love you, you're kind, you're a leader. And I hope that's one thing he'll remember.
Yeah.
You know.
That's awesome. Yeah. Katie and I went onesie shopping yesterday.
Oh yeah?
We went to Target and she's like, we'll just buy one. We walked out with like 5 things of baby clothes. I'm like, we're still a ways away from having this kid, and we've already got like a wardrobe lined up.
Well, don't buy too much because baby shower, dude, you're probably gonna get a lot of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. That's what, I was sitting there and I'm like, this is probably good.
Yeah, for real. All right, well, thank you guys so much for listening. It was a pleasure having this podcast episode.
It was a pleasure having you listen to us today. John, social media, where can people find you?
At John Michael Perez on Instagram and Outlive Johnny on Facebook.
Is that really still your Facebook handle? That's funny. John and I tried to launch a music label back in our band boy days. Jordan sells ATX on Instagram. Would love to connect with y'all. Let us know how we can help amplify your business. Topics that you want to hear. We love connecting with people who listen to this, so please reach out. Let us know if you're finding value, or like I said, other topics that you want to hear us cover.
Also, if you have any questions, like send us a DM. We answer our DMs. So
yeah. Awesome. Well, guys, thank you so much again. Returning listeners, y'all rock. New listeners, subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. We hope to see you next week, and go be great in your local market. We'll see you then.
See you guys.